The United States government has reached a new agreement with the Caribbean nation of Dominica to transfer certain asylum seekers to the island under updated visa and immigration rules. This agreement comes amid broad policy changes introduced by the Trump administration, which have aimed to tighten asylum procedures and impose stricter travel and visa restrictions for multiple countries worldwide. Officials have described the deal as a strategic partnership designed to manage the flow of asylum seekers while maintaining security and legal oversight. Under the terms of the arrangement, individuals who have applied for asylum in the United States but whose applications are still pending may be relocated to Dominica instead of remaining in U.S. facilities. Government representatives emphasize that detailed planning regarding the number of people to be transferred, their processing timeline, and the procedures for vetting and support services is still underway. Both nations have committed to ensuring that the arrangement is implemented in an orderly and secure manner. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit of Dominica explained that the discussions with U.S. officials included extensive consideration of the island's capacity and infrastructure. He highlighted that only individuals who pass strict security screenings would be eligible to participate in the program. The Prime Minister stressed that public safety and the well-being of Dominica's citizens remain a top priority. Dominica, with a population of approximately 72,000 people, faces logistical challenges in hosting asylum seekers, prompting debate among political leaders and civil society groups. Some opposition figures have questioned whether the government has adequately communicated the scope of the agreement and whether the island has sufficient resources, including housing, health care, and social support, to accommodate incoming asylum seekers. This agreement is part of a broader trend by the Trump administration to partner with foreign governments to relocate asylum seekers. Similar deals have been negotiated with countries across Latin America and the Caribbean, linking cooperation on asylum issues to visa and travel access arrangements. Such agreements are designed to balance U.S. immigration enforcement goals with international cooperation on migration management. In parallel with these asylum arrangements, the Trump administration has expanded visa restrictions affecting dozens of countries. These restrictions limit the issuance of travel, work, and study visas, citing national security concerns and efforts to prevent fraud and overstays. Dominica's inclusion on this list reflects both its cooperation in asylum agreements and the U.S. government's strategic efforts to manage immigration risks globally. Human rights advocates have raised concerns about potential impacts on asylum seekers. International law guarantees the right to seek protection from persecution, and relocating applicants to third countries can complicate access to due process. Critics argue that these agreements may place vulnerable individuals in countries with limited resources, potentially exposing them to legal or humanitarian challenges. The U.S. asylum system already faces significant backlogs, with long delays in processing claims. Recent policy changes have introduced stricter requirements, making it more difficult for applicants to navigate the process. Advocates warn that relocating asylum seekers abroad may exacerbate these challenges, leaving people in uncertain situations without proper access to legal recourse or essential services. Dominica's participation represents a diplomatic balancing act. The country gains international visibility and cooperation with the United States, but it also assumes responsibilities for hosting asylum seekers safely. Government officials have pledged that all arrivals will be screened for security risks, and that Dominica's citizens' interests will remain central to the program's implementation. Public reactions in Dominica are mixed. Some community members see potential economic or diplomatic benefits, while others express caution about the island's capacity to manage incoming asylum seekers effectively. Transparency and detailed planning have been called for to ensure that infrastructure, social services, and public health systems are not overstretched. International observers are closely monitoring how this deal may influence broader migration trends. The Trump administration's approach signals a shift in how the United States manages asylum, emphasizing relocation and partnerships with third countries. analysts note that the outcomes of this agreement could set precedents for similar arrangements in other regions facing migration pressures. Officials from both the United States and Dominica are expected to provide further clarification on implementation details, including timelines, numbers, and support mechanisms. These announcements will determine the practical impact of the arrangement and provide guidance for other countries considering participation in similar programs. This new agreement marks a significant moment in U.S. immigration policy, highlighting an evolving strategy that manages asylum applications outside U.S. territory. It raises important questions about international cooperation, humanitarian protections, and the responsibilities of smaller nations in hosting vulnerable populations. The global migration landscape may see lasting effects as other nations watch Dominica's experience with this program. As the program begins, policymakers and advocates will need to balance multiple priorities: respecting the rights of asylum seekers, maintaining national security, ensuring proper resource allocation, and strengthening diplomatic relations. How these competing interests are managed will be crucial for the program's success and may shape future asylum agreements under U.S. policy. The full impact of this agreement will unfold in the coming months. Determining how many asylum seekers will be relocated, what conditions they will face, and how both countries will manage ongoing responsibilities will be essential for evaluating the success and sustainability of the arrangement. This partnership will remain under scrutiny by governments, human rights organizations, and the international community. Dominica's engagement with the United States under this new policy underscores the interconnectedness of migration, diplomacy, and national security in the 21st century. The challenges faced by small nations hosting asylum seekers are now part of a broader conversation about global responsibility, legal protections, and the strategic management of international migration flows. Observers, policymakers, and advocacy groups are continuing to monitor developments, emphasizing the need for clarity, transparency, and safeguards for all parties involved. The implications of this agreement will resonate beyond Dominica and the United States, influencing how other nations negotiate asylum and visa arrangements in the years to come. The Trump administration's expanded visa rules and asylum policies illustrate an ongoing effort to reshape the U.S. immigration landscape. By combining restrictions with international cooperation, the government is attempting to control migration patterns while maintaining compliance with legal obligations. The results of the Dominica Agreement will serve as an important case study in evaluating the effectiveness and humanitarian impact of these strategies. The coming months will reveal how this partnership between the United States and Dominica is operationalized, how asylum seekers are accommodated, and what lessons can be drawn for future international cooperation. Stakeholders from both countries, as well as global observers, are paying close attention to the details of implementation, signaling that this agreement is as much a diplomatic milestone as it is a domestic policy experiment.